There's something I wanted to talk about for a while. Or should I start with a sigh? There's something I wanted to talk about for a while, and it's I think War Thunder's biggest flaw. Its lack of game modes. And I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been playing this game for over 7 years before it had the ground forces, the navy, the helicopters. But yeah, I played this game before there were tanks. I played this game before there was like the first hint of Cold War jets. But I think War Thunder's biggest issue is game modes. Sure, when you click on the, what you want to play thing, it looks like there's a lot. But there really isn't. You play Air Arcade or Arcade Tanks, and Naval Arcade is okay. That's fine, that's Team Deathmatch, I'm fine with that. But when it comes to Ground Realistic and Sim, it's just Team Deathmatch, and it's really, really tiring. And for a game that has so much potential, because in no other games can I think about a Jagdtiger shooting a ship, or any type of plane you want, attacking ships and tanks. It's really fun dynamic, especially with the helicopters as well. But it's just Team Deathmatch. The game isn't used to its full potential. And I don't know why War Thunder devs have never pushed that. And this goes without talking about balance or economy. It's just purely, there's only Team Deathmatch as a game mode. And that's it. There's nothing going on in War Thunder. Sure, there was the World War mode experiment, like the Season 1 and Season 2, but that wasn't really what I wanted. That was kind of about doing the exact same Team Deathmatches, but, on an actual board. That's not what I want. I want the battles, the actual matches you play, to be a bit more interesting. The maps aren't really that exciting recently either. I think they need to focus on maybe moving the Cold War tanks to their own slightly larger maps, and let the World War II tanks continue to fight on the small ones, because it's a bit silly when you have modern tanks like an Abrams fighting on White Rock Fortress. That just does not feel right. I mentioned like 3 or 4 years ago about, implementing some sort of payload mechanic where it felt like there was an objective you were holding on to and pushing throughout the map, because some of my favourite game modes in games are just Rush from Bad Company 2, whatever they called the Rush in Battlefield 1. What do they call it? They gave it a new name. The idea of taking objectives, fighting in an area, and as it slowly gets destroyed over time, and then you push on to the next area, I always really enjoyed that. But maybe they should think about implementing, maybe like Battlefield actually, I feel hard for going down that, but limiting certain spawns of vehicles so it feels like you're playing more of a team-based event where you can only have 2 heavy tank spawns, 3 SBAA spawns, but from the get-go you can have 2 fighter spawns and 1 heavy bomber. Maybe something like that we could experiment around with. I'm not saying that I have the answers for what the game mode should be. I just want there to be a game mode that isn't Team Deathmatch. I don't have the answers, but War Thunder, you want people playing this game all the time. You have like 3 to 4 major updates every year with tons of vehicles and new weapons, and there's so much cool stuff that gets added. Like, I love the new weapon systems they add and the uniqueness they bring to gameplay, like the spooky eyes on the T-90, air-to-ground missiles, or even something like the Fritz X. I was so happy when they added that to the game. It doesn't break the balance, but it's fun, different mechanics to play with. And now we've got active defense systems. Those are cool as heck, especially the way you got the Western style one, which is like, 360-degree protection, versus the Soviet style one, which only works straight, front and head facing. I like those new mechanics that are added, but they're just mechanics to then take into Team Deathmatch. When it comes to user events, there are some really interesting events based on historical battles, but I understand they cannot be applied to the general populace. The general populace just wants to hop into a vehicle and shoot other vehicles. They don't really care about their, ooh, look at me, I'm driving the L-33 in North Africa facing off against stewards. They don't care about that. They just want to fight other cool tanks. So I get that that won't work, but just something to do in Ground RB that isn't just Team Deathmatch. I'm not asking for freaking capture the flag, just something to do. Maybe some sort of quote-unquote semi-historical inspired battles. Like, if you're going to fight in Bastogne, maybe do a theme it around Bastogne, where you have the Germans like take the position of Bastogne while the Americans are defending. And then, I don't know, 5 minutes into the round, maybe the Americans get loads of planes because the cloud cover's cleared up. Just loosely historical inspired events maybe could be fun to play with at least. at least experiment with it or something. One other suggestion to play around with is maybe a carrier versus carrier game mode where two aircraft carriers are circling each other roughly at a very large distance, but you have the naval ships fighting there, and players with naval compatible aircraft are allowed to take off from the carriers. That could be something to experiment with. Just give me something that isn't team deathmatch. Give me a purpose, and obviously once the enemy aircraft carrier is destroyed, the other team wins. You would then say, oh, but the top tier battleships could easily shoot it. I don't know, probably. Figure something out, I don't know. I'm not coming up with the ideas for this. I'm just saying, you know, it's been 7 years of doing team deathmatch. Let's think outside the box and come up with something a bit interesting. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be reading them and interacting with you guys. Maybe you guys might have the idea that will make War Thunder interesting again. See ya.